My name is Rika Gul and I'm a student at Yohana School Islamabad campus. So yes, as you know, we always come with a new interview. Today as well, we have a very special guest with us. His name is Paul Bowen. Today we will learn about his life and ask him some questions. So let's get to start. So can you introduce yourself for our audience? Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Paul Bowen. I'm 81 years old. I live in the United States in a city called Denver, which is in the southeast. I am married with two grown children and one grandchild. And I think of myself as a philosopher. I have a degree, a PhD in philosophy from Yale, and I have taught philosophy at Brown University and University of Cincinnati. I, I'm now retired, but I still do philosophy. And you can find some of it on my Facebook timeline, which is under the name Paul. I guess that's my introduction. Oh, that's-
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay.
You hear me now?
Okay, so my next question is from you that can you tell me us about your family?
I have unmuted the microphone. Uh,
Can you tell me us about your family?
yes. Well, my parents are both dead. Uh, my wife, Judith Strong, she's also retired. She used to do research in neurophysiology and other things related to genes and uh, pain and a number of other issues. And my two children are Alexandra, we just call her Alex. Uh, and she works for the city of Denver as as part of their water system. She's a water engineer. And my son, Richard, lives in New York City, and he is a computer programmer. He has a degree in computer programming. And my granddaughter, her parents have asked that I not mention her name on the internet, but she's 2 years old now, and she seems to be doing quite well. She's learning to speak very well. And I have a sister who also lives in the U.S. in the state of Vermont, but I don't have any other brothers or sisters than her. I guess that's the essence of it there. That's my answer.
Okay, that's great. So my next question is from you that what is your nationality?
Well,
What's your
even,
nationality? nationality?
Well, I am a citizen of the United States, uh, but I like to think of myself as a citizen of the world because I think the division of the world into different countries is a very bad idea, and it leads to war and domination of one country by another. So, but legally, yes, I am a citizen of the United States. That's my answer.
Okay, that's great. So my next question is from you that what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, uh, I like to play the piano. I like to do my Facebook. I like to learn things. I read books. And hold on just a second. Sorry about that. Uh, I like to read books and to write. I write essays which I put on my Facebook, and I get exercise. I do various kinds of exercise to to try to stay somewhat young. It's part of being 81 years old, but I'm actually in fairly pretty good shape, uh, except for my ears. But let's see, free time. Supposedly, all my time is free time since I'm retired. Of course, there are tasks to do around the house, uh, and I sing in a choir. I'm a tenor, and I sing in a choir, and I go to a society of people called the
Okay.
First Unitarian Society of Denver. Okay, that's good.
Okay,
That's
that's nice. So my next question is from you that what makes you happy?
well, free time makes me happy because,
Oh,
of course, sometimes I've committed myself, even though I'm retired, I commit myself to this. And learning things makes me happy. I read books, they're serious books, and so I'm really learning something interesting from them. And although that can be a little difficult sometimes, it does make me happy. And I think just existing makes me happy to a
okay.
certain. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, nice. So my next question is from you that what is your profession?
Well, of course, I'm retired now. I used to teach philosophy. I've done a few other things, but philosophy has been the main thing that I've done. Yes, that's my answer.
Okay. Okay, so my next question is from you that what challenges do you face in your life? What
Ah,
challenges do you face in your life?
okay. Well, aging is one of them, although I think I'm doing pretty well in that regard because I have glasses, hearing aids, and dentures. But on the whole, I'm in, in pretty good shape. Uh, what challenges? Well, I'm not happy with the way the world is,
Oh,
and especially with the way the United States is. I think in the United States, our president is a crazy person. He has a lot of support, and he's really doing tremendous damage to the country. And it's not particularly good for the rest of the world either. So I guess you could add that to the list of things I do in my free time. I go to demonstrations and things like that to try to help change the political situation. Uh, so I guess the political situation here is a big challenge as far
Okay.
as I'm concerned. That's what I'd say.
Okay. So my next question is from you that what is the most important lesson you learned in life?
Hmm. Well, that's a tough one. I guess I learned to think for myself, and that's actually very difficult. I don't know if anyone can ever completely think for themselves because you're always dependent on their sources of information. But given that restriction, it is possible to think for yourself. And I think that's probably the most important thing that I learned to do. That's my answer.
Sorry to say, but can you speak loudly? I can't hear you properly.
Oh, I'm sorry. The most the most important thing I think that I have learned is to think for myself, which
Yeah.
can be very difficult. And you can never entirely think for yourself because you're dependent on sources of information. But I think it is possible to a certain extent to think for yourself. And I think that's probably the most important thing I ever learned to do. And that's my answer.
Okay. Okay, nice. So my next question is from you that have you ever failed at something?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. When I first had, oh, many things.
Oh,
But uh, when I had the job at Brown University, I did not. They eventually got rid of me. I didn't. In universities in the United States, you try to get tenure, which means that they hire you permanently. But they did not hire me permanently. And after that, I had much less interesting jobs. So that's a failure. Also, in my freshman year of college, I actually flunked out. Uh, I got such bad grades that they let me go and I had to work my way up to other colleges until finally I was able to get into Yale and get a PhD there. Uh, and so those are two examples of something where I failed.
okay. Okay, so my next question is from you that what is your proudest moment?
Ah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I think that it's it's very hard to answer that question, but um, I think right now is probably
Oh,
I feel very proud of what I have accomplished in spite of my failures, and I feel proud of the fact that I'm still healthy at 81 years old. Uh, and I just feel that over the course of time, very slowly, I become a better person than I was. I see that I was foolish in various ways. And so I become a better person. So right now, I think I'm probably a better person than I was at any earlier time in my life. And so I think for that reason, this is probably my proudest moment. That's my answer.
mm, okay. So my next question is from you that what does success mean to you?
I think success to me is being a good person and should be kind. You should be uh, careful and and try to live in such a way that you make the world a better place than it would otherwise have been. And so, in that sense, I consider myself to be a success because, as I said, I think I'm smarter now. I'm a better person now than I used to be. And so I consider myself to be successful for that reason. That's my answer.
Okay. So my next question is from you that how do you manage your time?
Well, so, sometimes I'm not very good at that, but I,
How do you
I,
manage your time?
pardon me? Oh, how do you? Yes. Um, I try to make a list of things that I'm committed to doing and to keep that list small enough so that I can actually do all those things. So I have a list of things like, well, every day I practice the piano, every day I do certain exercises, every day I do certain tasks around the house, uh, and every day I do my Facebook. And there are various things. I have a list. And sometimes the list gets a little too long and I can't do all those things. So I have to say, well, I'm going to give this one up. I can't do that. And sometimes when I'm surfing the net, I start looking at stuff that's actually kind of junk. Uh, if I go to YouTube for some reason and I say, oh, that looks interesting. Oh, that looks interesting. And then after a while, I realize that I've wasted a lot of time. So, so I sometimes fail to manage my time well. Uh, but on the whole, that's what I do. I have a list. Uh, I don't know what that sound is. Oh, it stopped. Okay. So that's basically it. I have a certain list of things that I'm willing to commit time to. Um, I keep I have to keep that list from getting too long, but I think I'm fairly successful on the whole. I don't waste a lot of time. So that's my answer.
Okay. Sorry, I think it's my network issues. Okay, so my next question is from you that can you tell us about your country?
Well, it's the United States. That's short for the United States of America. So it's a very large country and very wealthy and very powerful. We have the largest army in the world. In fact, I think our army is bigger than the next five armies all put together. I'm not happy about that, but that's the way it is. And we have a sort of democracy that sometimes limps a little bit. It doesn't function well, but I'm glad that we have a democracy, and I'm helping to struggle to make it a better democracy. Uh, we have some problems, and but I guess every country has its problems. And let's see, what else can I say? I mean, I think it's in a state of decay. If you go back a few years, the United States was a very powerful country, and they were doing some good things uh, to like keeping trade routes open. Uh, the United States took on that responsibility for the world, and that was a good thing. On the other hand, uh, the United States has more than its share of the world's wealth. And that's partly because we have a big army and other reasons, many other reasons. But I would like to see a more even distribution of wealth in the world. Uh, So let's see, what else would I say about it? I guess I guess those are the main things that I would say about the United States. We have a tradition of democracy, and I think that's very important. So that's my answer.
Oh, okay. So my next question is from you that what habit changed your life?
Uh, well, that's a very good question, but it's very hard to answer. I have so many habits. Uh, I think I'll just say what is the first thing that comes into my head. I have given up alcohol, caffeine, and extra sugar and things like that. I have changed to a vegetarian diet, and so I don't eat meat. And I think these kinds of changes in habit are good for me. They make me more healthy and more effective as a person. I used to drink alcohol. This was many, many years ago. But because in those days you couldn't get social life without going to a bar. So all my friends would get together at a bar. But one day I asked myself, why am I putting something into my body that makes me stupid and clumsy? And I didn't really have a good answer to that. And so I gave it up. And but my best friend was an alcoholic. He couldn't give it up. And it ruined his life for many years until finally he gave it up and he had a few years of a good life without it. And then he died. But most of his life was a mess because of that. So I'm very glad that I gave up the habit of using alcohol. The same goes for caffeine. Coffee. Of course, coffee makes you think you have lots of energy, but then you become addicted to it. And now you have to take caffeine just to feel normal. And then one day my heart started going thump, 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 thump. That was pretty scary. So because of that and other things, I gave up a caffeine. It's not as bad as alcohol, but at the very least, it's an addiction, and you end up spending time and money supporting your addiction, and you get nothing for it in the end. So giving up addictions, I think, is something that I did that was a very good thing. So that's my answer.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, so my next question is from you that what is special about your culture? Can you tell me about this?
Uh, well, I think the United States, although it does some very bad things, it has also done some very good things. It has been a champion of democracy, and so I think that's a very interesting thing. Now, that's being challenged right now. I think our president Trump wants to get rid of democracy and be a dictator. So we'll see how that comes out. It's a big struggle. Um, I think the culture of the United States, well, I think it has a problem, and that's why we have the political problems. Uh, the values of people in the United States have become, for many of them, their values have become more selfish, and they don't value logic. They make their decisions emotionally rather than logically, And I think that's part of where our political problems comes from. The culture is underneath, and the political problems arise from these problems in the culture. Uh, and we have supported science, but again, a lot of these things are going downhill. We're not supporting science as much as we used to do. And so I would say my culture is in a state of decay. It is going downhill. And it is more based on fear and prejudice instead of logic and science. And that makes me very sad, but that's the way it is. And we are trying to, some of us are trying to change it. I do that on my Facebook page. I try to change, to spread ideas that I think are healthy ideas. Uh, so I guess that's the state of my culture. It has many beautiful things in it, but it's at the moment it's going downhill. But I think we can maybe fix it. We'll see. We're going to try it anyway. So that's my answer.
Okay, that's right. So my next question is from you that what traditions are important in your country?
Hmm. Well, I think the most important one is democracy, and that, as I have said, it's in danger right now. But that's what it is. I think there are traditions of solidarity. People help each other out, instead of competing. And there's plenty of competition. But I think there is also a tradition of people helping each other out when they have trouble. And this can be a personal thing, one person helping one other person, but it also has to do with what the government is supposed to do. In what we call the liberal tradition, the government is supposed to help people out who are in trouble and try to guide the economy so that everyone is comfortable. Unfortunately, that's one of the things that's going downhill. And but we do have that tradition of a government that is supposed to help people, help the economy, and so on. Well, I mean, we have certain festivals like July 4th. Every July 4th, it's Independence Day, so they celebrate when we got independence from Britain many years ago, and so we have fireworks and other celebrations like that. So we have, and there's Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving, we give thanks for what we have, and everybody eats a big meal. The family get together and eat lots of stuff to celebrate the fact that we have the stuff. So that's a something that we have. I think maybe I'm not sure whether this fits quite into your question, but America is the country that created rock and roll. So I think we listen to lots of rock and roll on the whole, and that's really an American creation, that kind of music. Uh, so I guess that's all that comes into my head right at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much for giving your important time. So our interview time is coming to end up. Would you like to give our viewers some final advice?
I think my advice would be to think for yourself and to try to make the world a better place than it would have been if you had done what you did. I try to make the world a better place. So that would be my advice. That's
Um, Give me some last advice.
more advice.
Last advice to our viewers.
I'm sorry, could you type that?
Okay.
Oh, more advice. Um, well, be nice to people. Be nice to people. It's just a good way to exist is to be nice to people. And I know there are some people who make it very hard to be nice to them, but try to be nice to them. At least don't be mean to them unless you have to defend yourself. Uh, Try to be nice. You can't always do it, but try. That would be my last advice.
Okay, so this brings us to the end of today's interview. We truly hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting and informative. It was a wonderful experience talking with our guest today, and we learned many valuable lessons from his life journey, experiences, and thoughts. Conversations like these help us grow, learn new perspectives, and feel inspired to move forward with positivity. We are very thankful to our guest for giving us his precious time and sharing his insight with us. We hope you also learned something meaningful from his interview. We will be back soon and another inspiring interview and a new special guest. Until then, take care, stay motivated, and Allah Hafiz. Bye
So,
bye.
uh, yes, thank you for having me. Goodbye.
Bye.